Can you see it? Okay. Good morning. My name is Maya Nadeem, and my research project is on colorism represented through fashion ads in Pakistan. The fashion industry, as we know it, is complex. We have heard of the phrase beauty standards before, but in our culture it is something we have tried to steer away from since the early 2000s. Fashion advertisements play a big role in establishing a beauty standard when it comes to hiring models for its ads. Many Asian countries such as India, South Korea, and Japan have been known for the emphasis on lighter skin colors. From photo editing pictures to make your skin lighter to buying face whitening creams that are harmful to one's skin in order to be seen as more beautiful. This research will focus on how lighter and darker skin colors are perceived in everyday advertisements in Pakistan. During the planning phase, the original thought was to research makeup ads as opposed to fashion ads. The switch was made, one, due to the lack of makeup advertisements found, and also due to the fact that many makeup ads that I found were for Western makeup brands and weren't specifically targeted at the people of Pakistan, but for a broader audience in general. While searching for said ads, more fashion advertisements were found with different Pakistani models and brands. This switch did not change the overall focus of the research because the objective is to expose or not expose the cause of colorism issues many Pakistanis face today. These are examples of the makeup ads that I found. Most of them didn't have people in them, and some of them, if they did, it was like really small like this, you can't really tell. And here is an example of like a brand that's not even from Pakistan, so it probably wasn't targeted just at the Pakistani audience. All of this led to the question, to what extent do Pakistani fashion ads represent their general population skin tones? The objective of this research is to assess different fashion ads in Pakistan that are displayed to its general public, and discover if advertisements are related to colorism issues facing the country. Colorism has been an issue around the world, and living in America, it might seem as if we are moving away from discrimination based on skin colors. However, in many countries and cultures, it is still very much alive. There has been a multitude of similar research done on countries in the West like America and Canada, but not much of this research has been conducted in Asian countries where colorism is normalized. This is specifically why Pakistan was chosen as the base for this research. From my lit review, these two articles were the most important to my research. The first one is Effective Lifestyle on Consumer Decision Making, a Study of Women Consumers of Pakistan by Zaima Asrar Muhyiddin, and it discusses how the goods and services people buy are also affected by their lifestyle choices. Marketers study the lifestyle choices of the people they advertise to in order to make their products stand out more to their customers. What this means is marketers tend to create advertisements for their products based on the lifestyles of the people that will buy it, meaning the advertisements we will see in the research will reflect what the population likes and wants to see. The next article is called Fair But Not So Lovely by the Daily Times Lahore, and it discusses how Pakistani girls are discriminated against because of the idea that lighter skin colors are superior. This discrimination can go from turning on the TV and seeing ads about lightening creams to parents telling their daughters to use lightening products in order to be beautiful. The brand Fair and Lovely serves as inspiration for this research because it is a lightening cream brand that constantly advertises the idea of brighter skin being more beautiful. For the method, the first step of the method was to get the magazines. The magazines were all found on online archives, and the original idea was to have physical copies of the magazines, but that was proven to be rather difficult to get. Instead, I reached out to individuals I knew that lived in Pakistan, asking for different magazines that I can find in online archives that also circulated around the country. I'll mention the magazines in a bit. After getting the magazine titles, I found them all in their respective archives. All of the magazines are from the years 2010 to 2020 in order to keep it relevant. Majority of these ads are from 2016 to 2020, with only a few being from the other years. Along with advertisements, I also analyzed the covers of the magazines because the covers are what people look at regardless whether they buy the magazine or not. So the covers should somewhat reflect what the public wants to see. The magazines are as follows. Akhbar-e Jahan, and here are some examples of ads. analyzed from that magazine. Akhbari Khawateen, and Khawateen also means women. So this is a women's magazine in Pakistan. So this is an example of like a cover that I used to analyze. Ebaz magazine, this is also a cover. And Paparazzi magazine. After getting the magazines, the next step was to create a skin tone scale to create like the base of what the general population skin tone is in Pakistan. So the first step in this was to figure out the different ethnic groups in Pakistan, and the ones chosen for this research were Punjabi, Pashtun, Sindhi, Saryaki, Muhajir, and Balochi. These are the 6 ethnic groups chosen to do research on, as opposed to the many more in Pakistan. This is due to the fact that like they're large enough to compare to the whole population, because they all make up at least 2% of the population of Pakistan. The average skin tones were determined with the Google image search of each ethnic group. The top 2 to 3 images were picked after searching each ethnic group on Google Images, and this was used as a base for the average skin colors from each ethnic group. The skin tone gradient was made using the app palette developed by Kenshiro Kokado, which can be found in the Apple App Store. Colors that seemed out of place were taken out. For example, colors that seemed more green or bluish were taken out, and the reason why these colors might have seemed different was due to the lighting differences in each pictures, and since they were found online, could have been affected by the difference in lighting for each individual. In total, there are 30 colors in the gradient, and as you can see, they go from lightest to darkest, 1 being the lightest, and 5 being the darkest. So for example, this is light to medium, this is medium dark, and this is dark. 5 would be dark and 1 would be light. After this, I analyzed each magazine and gave them each magazine a number score of one of those numbers based on like their skin color of the models in the ads. So here is a chart depicting what each ad received, like the amount of ads that received each skin tone score. So out of 76 ads analyzed, 58 received a score of 1, 16 received a score of 2, 2 ads received a score of 3, and 0 ads received a score of 4 and 5. Here's a visual representation of the data that I just stated. 76% received a score of 1, which is, as you can see, majority. 21% received a score of 2, 3% received a score of 3, and 0% received a score of 4 or 5. So for the results, Ebaz magazine was the most diverse considering all of the 3s came from it. To summarize, fashion advertisements in Pakistan do not at all reflect their general population skin tones, and instead show models with skin tones similar to their lightest viewers. This is what will eventually lead to many individuals with darker skin, especially females, to wear lighter foundation shades or buy skincare products with skin whitening ingredients that are harmful to one's skin. These are all realities that many in Pakistan face in today's day and age, and beauty advertisements do not contribute to stopping these trends, and instead promote them to their viewers. In summation, this research was able to confirm what was already known: the fact that colorism and discrimination based on one's skin tone still exists in today's day and age. Beauty advertisements only help confirm that those standards exist and are real for the society as a whole. Magazines cater to their audience, which is why they show these ads, because they know it's what their audience would rather see. The change needs to begin from within society and their mindsets, and it has to be the mindset that has been created for them. Limitations. So throughout the research, many different obstacles arose. For example, the skin tone gradient is not an exact representation of Pakistan's skin tone range because the pictures were all taken off the internet and all taken in different lighting and environments. The magazines themselves were all found on online archives as opposed to physical copies, and it would have been better to see the magazines in person because then the brightness of the computer screen or the quality of the images wouldn't hinder the results. A solution to this would be simply having more time to finish the project, because with extra time, a more accurate skin tone gradient could have been created, and physical copies of magazines could have been obtained, and more ads could have been analyzed. Implications. What this research revealed was an issue within the Pakistani community and how it continues to progress through media. All of the magazines used in the study are circulated throughout Pakistan and are also in online archives for anyone to access, meaning millions of people witness the ads and are subconsciously affected by the lack of representation. This lack of representation was witnessed in America long before, and now all the ads showcased in America are more inclusive than ever. There is no more skin color standard in America when it comes to the country's beauty as a whole. This is reflected through the beauty ads. The same should go for Pakistan and its population filled with beautifully diverse skin colors. For further research, looking into a different field instead of the beauty industry could result in further colorism being exposed. Instead of gathering beauty advertisements, gathering records on what type of people get employed for certain jobs could expose an even bigger issue to colorism that many don't know exists. Research can also be done in other countries or possibly regions as a whole, just like how this study started out. The same research can also be done in countries in Africa, South America, or even in Europe. With this, colorism issues around the world can be exposed, just to show the world that we truly have not gone past color discrimination like we thought we had. To go beyond the research, a paper discussing methods to end internalized colorism and its effects would be helpful to the overall goal. Using this research as background information to discover ways to implement policies, create advertisements, etc. to end the whole idea of colorism in general. Suggesting a multitude of ideas to end discrimination would complete the idea of this entire project. The end. That's my works cited.